Words are a way of expressing what's going on in your head, what's going on in your heart. What if you can't see well and you can't express well? You can imagine the tragic scenario of 5 years of that, 10 years of that, 20 years of that showing no improvement. Behavior now becomes a major problem. And that person's world gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Why? They can't see and they can't express. And finally, they don't need much bigger place than a 10 by 12 cell. Their world is so small anyway, don't need much bigger place. I'm asking you to stretch your vocabulary.
To build my early vocabulary, I used to put 3 or 4 words I didn't know on a card, put it up on the sun visor, on my car. Back in those days, I traveled a lot by car. Sure enough, by the end of the day, I'd mastered 2 or 3 words. And since vocabulary is a way of seeing, if you can't see well, you can imagine the errors you can make and how they compound as life unfolds. So it's very important to have a good vocabulary. So I would ask you, one of the most important books in your library should be the dictionary.
Next is sensitivity. You got to understand, we use the phrase where people are coming from, where they've been, what's going on. Sensitivity training is so important. People not like you, people that have got challenges and problems and difficulties, you got to do your best to be sensitive to other people, where they find themselves, the pit they might be in currently, what's going on. Be sensitive to that.
Always remember, people are carrying a heavy load. There was a wonderful line I read that said, if every person who complains about their problems could come from all corners of the earth and take and pile their problems in a heap, and if each person could see the size and gravity of the problems of others, they would sneak forward shamefacedly and take their petty problems away and creep into the night. And I think it's an interesting thing when you consider that we have problems, but so many other people have vastly greater problems than us. And when you tune into other people's problems and concerns, it's amazing how much better your life is.
Here's 2 of the greatest things said about Jesus. 1, it said he was touched. He was touched by where he found some people. He was touched by the misery he found some people in. He was touched. He was touched. And here's the other word. He was moved, it said. He was moved, touched and moved. If you really want to communicate well, you got to be touched and moved. Not just by your own drama of life, but by the drama you know is going on in other people's lives. Sensitivity. How does an adult 40 talk to a child who's 12? You got to be sensitive. Not just to your current situation. One of the best ways to identify with a child who's 12 and you're 40 is remember when you were 12. Go back, remember the scenario and let it hit you again, let it touch you again.
Your expectations largely determine the quality of your life in this sense, is that whatever you expect with confidence becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you expect with confidence becomes your own self-fulfilling prophecy. In other words, you are always telling your future by the way you talk about how you think things are going to turn out. You are like a fortune teller in your own life. And if you believe that things are going to turn out well, if you expect them to turn out well, then by gum they do. So it's very, very important that you always expect the best. And this is the key. Expect the best. Expect the best. Expect the best of yourself. Expect the best of other people. Interesting difference between winners and losers. Can you guess?
At the University of Pennsylvania is that the #1 quality of success, they did the psychographic and demographic tests on these people. They found the #1 quality that the top 10% of people had was optimism. They have a positive, constructive attitude toward life. Does it mean they don't get beaten down and make mistakes and fall down and get disappointed and so on? Of course they do, but they bounce back. The major test of how healthy you are as a person is not whether you get knocked down, but how quickly you bounce back, how quickly you recover. If you do a stress test in medicine, what they do is they do a stress test to test your system. The critical question is how quickly do you respond? How quickly do you come back to where you were before? And I want to give you the 4 critical exercises for optimists. These are the 4 ways that optimists think that separate them from people who are average, who are pessimistic. Remember, the great majority of people are not particularly positive or optimistic, but all leaders are. So #1 is top people think and talk about what they want most of the time. Whenever you find yourself getting upset, say, wait a minute, I'm going to think and talk about what I want. Your conscious mind can only hold one thought at a time, either a positive thought or a negative thought. If you discipline yourself to think about what you want and how to get it, you push out all negative thoughts for that moment. If you keep doing something repeatedly over and over again, what do you eventually develop? You develop a habit. You know, Donna talked about success habits. It's so important. If you force yourself to think about what you want and how to get it, eventually you get up in the morning, the first thing you think about is what you want and how to get it. Okay? The second way that you become an optimist is you look for the good in every situation and in every person. You always look for the good. Something goes wrong, look for the good. Your house burns down. Well, that's good. We needed a house closer to work anyway. Your car gets stolen. Well, that's good. The ashtrays were full. You know? You lost your job. Well, that's good. We didn't like the job anyway. So, in other words, look for something good in every situation. Now, here's the most remarkable thing. You find what you're looking for. If you're looking for the problem or the flaw, then you'll find it. If you're looking for something good, you'll find it. Question, does anybody here have a light with a dimmer switch on it at home? Now, a dimmer switch has a very interesting parallel. With a dimmer switch, it's controlled manually. You either turn it or move it up or down, and when it's on full, it's bright, and when it's down, it's dark. There's a dimmer switch on your brain as well. Only the dimmer switch on your brain is controlled by your thoughts. And when your thoughts are really positive, your dimmer switch is on full. You're positive, you're creative, you're high energy, you feel good about yourself. In other words, you're positive, you're the best person you could possibly be when your dimmer switch is on full. When your dimmer switch is down low, your personality is darkened, you're angry, you're worried, you're fearful, you're negative, you're pessimistic, you're skeptical, you run for public office and talk about how terrible America is. Okay. But the fact is that your dimmer switch is controlled by the thoughts that you think at any given moment. And if you think about what you want and how to get it, your dimmer switch goes on full. And you have all of your energy available to you. When you think and look for the good in a situation, a difficult situation, you say, that's good. What happens is your dimmer switch goes on full. Now, the third thing you do is you look for the valuable lesson in every setback or difficulty. Napoleon Hill, in his 22-year study of 500 of the most successful people America ever produced, found that one of the qualities they had in common was they always looked for the valuable lesson in every setback or difficulty.
In every area of your life, you can use visualization to make it better. As with goal setting, the two best times to visualize are late in the evening or early in the morning. When you visualize your goals as if they already existed before you go to sleep, your subconscious mind accepts them at a deeper and deeper level. It then adjusts your words and actions during the day so that you do and say more and more of those things that will make your goals into realities. Another time to visualize is first thing in the morning, before you start out. Clear mental images of what you want to accomplish during the day will make it far more likely that you achieve those results exactly as you imagined and on schedule. Start today to flood your mind with pictures of the person you want to be, the life you want to live, and the goals you want to achieve. Cut out pictures from magazines and newspapers that are consistent with your goals and desires. Post them everywhere. Review them regularly. Discuss them often. Imagine them continually. Make your life an ongoing process of positive visualization, continually imagining and visioneering your ideal goals and your perfect future.